I'm joined by Tracy Todd of Attree Consulting, which seeks to promote business and career confidence by guiding people to align their aspirations and ambitions with the realities of the business world. The principle is that if work creates individual happiness, then happiness might create better work. A happily virtuous circle. Tracy, hello. Many thanks for coming in. Just explain a little bit your principle of professional development, as it were, of aligning ambitions and happiness with work and career.
Well, I created this program because I believe everybody should live their dream life. That if they're passionate about what they do, then they will achieve it. And they will have all the employee traits that everybody looks for. So they will be ambitious, they'll be committed, they'll have drive, they'll have belief, and they will achieve.
And you've come up with a little design, a little diagram, which people can fill in to try to work out examine themselves, work out what their own qualities are or what their demerits are, and see what sort of direction they should be going in.
Yeah, as part of the PDM program, I don't know if you have the chart.
We might well.
But as part of the PDM program, the first stage is to look at things about yourself. So what were the things you like to do, the current things you like to do, what your values and principles are, what your passions are in life, and what you would dream of becoming. Even though a lot of people will say, oh, you know, that you should just get on and work and make some money. I think if you can align those things, even if you're working to make money as well as working to achieve some of your dream, then you will be a lot happier in life.
So where did you come up with this idea? Where's the concept from?
Originally, I worked in Saudi Arabia. And I worked for a company, I was in a consultant company, and I worked for a national business that wanted to employ young Saudis. And very much similar to here, there's a lot of unemployment, and they were trying to bring Saudis who had no work experience into the business. So we set up a 3-month program, and as part of that, this was part of that program. But that was 5 or 6 years ago, and I'd come back to Britain, and I'd forgotten about this program. But then through some things that happened with my own family, with looking around, I decided to redesign it for this culture and for people that were not only unemployed but had lost direction.
So what you take this diagram, this is perhaps a bit simplistic, you enter in what you think your qualities are, what your qualifications are, what your skills are, and what your hopes are. And out of that, that equation, as it were, comes out the other end what you should be.
Well, at the end of that, you eventually have a really very simple vision statement, and you state quite, clearly, this is what I want to be. But then from that, you don't just leave it there, because doing that, people can walk away and say, okay, well, that's nice, but let's not do anything with it. You actually have a plan. You must plan to do something every month to achieve that. So there is a long time of planning, achieving, follow-up in order to make sure that happens.
Isn't this quite deterministic then? You're sort of born with certain characteristics, certain talents and abilities, certain things that you're not so good at, and that will define what you must be. That it sort of takes out the act of free will, doesn't it? You can't make that selection for yourself. You're destined to be one thing or another by the characteristics
Not
in
at
which
all.
you're born.
Not only, people change. So I'm running this program at a school, as well as for people who are between 20 and 30. And at different stages in life, you change. It doesn't mean because you start when you're young thinking this, that life takes you in a different direction. You can do it again. You can say, okay, that was my life then, but now this is my next challenge.
And what happens if you put in all that data about yourself, that self-examination, and out the other end pops the answer, well, you're no good at anything. Give up.
Never happens.
It's pointless. Just tell us about, you're approaching this with employment and business startup operations around here in this region, aren't you?
Yes.
Just tell us very quickly a little bit about
that.
Well,
they're running a pilot for their own staff.
Who's this?
eFactor.
eFactor.
And it's halfway through, going very well. I'm very pleased with the participants. And the idea is that when they have finished this, they will be able to talk about it to other business people who work and who actually use eFactor.
And you've also taken your own advice
yes,
in
I
that
have.
you've worked out what it is one of the things that you've always wanted to achieve, and
Yes.
you have achieved it. And if you may have a look, you've written a book.
Yes. So you see, I have two passions. The program, which I believe in absolutely, and I know it works, and I'm also writing.
Unscanned.
Yes.
And it's a novel.
It's a novel. It's aimed at as somebody told me who read it, between 9 and 90.
Righto, well that's a good demographic.
It is, isn't it? That's excellent.
What's a just very quick sort of demographic? Is it a thriller? Is it an adventure story?
It's an adventure, general fiction or fantasy in the future.
And where's it available? Where can people get their hands on that book?
Amazon. You can get it on Amazon.
Amazon and in
Kindle and paperback, it's available. Yes.
Possibly in bookshops as well?
Soon, actually at Waterstones, very soon.
Okay. Tracy, thank you very much. Well done for taking your own advice. And good luck with the book and good luck with the programme.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Dan. Just before we go, a few more words from my guest, Tracy Todd. Tracy, your personal destiny map, how can people get involved? Where can they get this equipment?
If they go online, I have a website, A-Tree Consulting, or they can contact me through eFactor. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. That would be okay too.
And what sort of people is it aimed for? What sort of people should be using this sort of thinking?
I'm using it at the moment for people who are 12, people between 21 and 30. So it's really for people who have lost direction for whatever reason and would like to know which direction to go in.
And you say it's from people who are 12 to people through their 20s.
Yes, that's right. But I also ran it for people who are 40 and 50.
So it's if people are thinking that they've spent half of their lives going completely the wrong direction.
That's right, and I have, and very recently I ran it for somebody like that.
So if I wanted to suddenly become a fireman or the leader of a small African country, this is the way to do it.
This is the programme for it, yes.
Okay, and you've given us those details. Have you got any great success stories?
Well, in England...
Just very quickly, yes or no?
Yes, of course I have, yes.
You have. Thank you very much, Tracy. That's all we have time for. Please join me tomorrow evening when my guest will be Pippa Curtin, here to talk about the Youth Parliament. Contact us in the usual ways. If you have anything for us, please email news@estuary.tv or contact us through the social media, Twitter or Facebook, or call 01472 315561 or the number on the screen. For now, goodbye.